Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on a 2017 Chevy Silverado front wheel bearing. First you're going to start out by taking the two 19mm caliper bolts off. Once you get that caliper removed, make sure to hang it off to the side. Don't let it hang by the brake line. Once you get those removed, you're going to remove the two 18mm caliper bracket bolts. Once we remove all the brake hardware, we're going to take some heat to this factory screw for the rotor. Gives us the best chances of not stripping it out. This is a T30. If you have impact tools, it's best to use them here. A ratchet will work, but an impact will give you the best chances of not stripping it. Next we're going to take a 35mm axle nut socket. If you have an impact, you can do this at this point. If not, you're going to want to do it on the ground or with a buddy. Next we're going to remove the three 15mm bolts on the back side of the knuckle. These three bolts are actually holding on your wheel bearing. Before we start hitting the wheel bearing to remove it, there is a ABS wire you want to disconnect. It sits at the top of the shock mount. You just disconnect that, follow it down. After that point, we can start working the wheel bearing off. If you live in the Rust Belt like me, might take a few hits with a hammer. Don't just hit one side, work around it so it doesn't pinch itself. After removing the old wheel bearing, we're going to do some cleanup on the mating surfaces. Just take a wire brush, just get everything out of there, maybe some compressed air. This wheel bearing actually failed at around 80,000 miles, which was surprising. I found a lot of debris in between that mating surface and the bearing. I would assume that's what caused the failure. At this point, just for a little bit of extra cleanliness, just taking some brake cleaner, spraying everything down before we install the new bearing. Next, I'm installing some just high temperature axle grease. I've always done this with new wheel bearings. I'm not sure if it's necessary or not. It's not going to hurt anything. At this point, we're going to take the old dust shield, feed it through the new bearing, feed that ABS wire through that dust shield, get everything lined up, and hand start the first 15mm bolt on the backside. Once you get everything lined up, you're going to want to throw some blue Loctite on those three bolts holding on your wheel bearing. The book calls for 133 foot-pounds of torque on those bolts. I couldn't get an impact socket in there with a torque wrench, so I just gave it a heave-ho with my wrenches. It should be okay. Next, we're going to torque down the axle nut to 177 foot-pounds. At this point, you're just going to basically do everything in reverse as far as the brake and hardware goes. Don't forget to reinstall that ABS wire up to the shock mount, and you'll be good to go. once you get everything put back together, roll the tire over, throw that on, torque it down to 100 foot-pounds in a star pattern, and you'll be good to go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next project.